If Ripple becomes Visa, cool, $700 billion company, who cares? If Ethereum becomes Amazon, cool, add someone to the Mag 7, sweet. Mind you, these things will never because they're giant scams. But my point is, there is Bitcoin and then there's everything else, okay? Don't get it twisted. And it's not like, okay, well, I mean, technically this is a Bitcoin strategic reserve because it's a reserve that Bitcoin is in it. So, you know, we take our wins where we can. No, we don't. Let me be clear about something. Obviously, as the dollar gets debased, that number will just continue to go up. So I think in purchasing power terms, Bitcoin still has about a 500x left in it. If Ripple becomes Visa, cool, $700 billion company, who cares? If Ethereum becomes Amazon, cool, add someone to the Mag 7, sweet. Mind you, these things will never because they're giant scams. But my point is, there is Bitcoin and then there's everything else, okay? Don't get it twisted. And it's not like, okay, well, I mean, technically this is a Bitcoin strategic reserve because it's a reserve that Bitcoin is in it. So, you know, we take our wins where we can. No, we don't.
Bitcoin is on the verge of shattering everything you thought you knew about money. With a potential market cap of $500 trillion, it's no longer just a cryptocurrency. It's an unstoppable force that will dismantle fiat currencies and completely reshape global economies. The traditional financial system doesn't stand a chance. Jack Mers isn't joking when he says Bitcoin isn't just competing with other cryptos, it's going after everything. Forget Ethereum, Ripple, or Solana. They're merely tech stocks compared to Bitcoin's raw, decentralized power. Operating purely on proof of work, with no pre-mined coins or corporate insiders, Bitcoin offers unfiltered value. As fiat currencies die slow deaths due to inflation and poor economic management, Bitcoin is positioning itself as the ultimate reserve asset. With a growth potential 500 times its current value, it's clear that Bitcoin will revolutionize how we save and how economies function. When Bitcoin hits $500,000, it won't just be a price, it will mark a complete financial overhaul. Banks, governments, and trusted systems will be obsolete. Bitcoin is the financial revolution, and if you're not on board, you're at risk of being left behind. Let's dive into clips from Jack M's explosive interview to understand more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives. Thanks for watching and enjoy.
A crypto reserve for the United States of America that would include Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Solana, and ADA, also known as Cardano. Let me be super clear with my thoughts. None of these altcoins deserve to be in the same sentence as Bitcoin. Better yet, in a reserve held and maintained by the United States of America. There's only one coin that did not have a pre-mine, that was fairly distributed, that is actually decentralized. One, and that is Bitcoin. No Bitcoin was created for the founders, was allocated to a special group. Every single Bitcoin owned today was earned through proof of work, whether that is mining, literal proof of work, or whether that is doing real things of value in the real world and using your earnings and your wage to buy Bitcoin. No cheating, no special interest, period. Gold did not have a pre-mine. Corn did not have a pre-mine. Aluminum did not have a pre-mine. Bitcoin did not have a pre-mine. Ethereum, over 60% of the supply was pre-mined. Ripple, 100% of the supply was pre-mined. Solana, over 50% of the supply was pre-mined. Cardano, over 50% of the supply was pre-mined. Human beings own over $900 trillion worth of stuff in the world, okay? We own money, currencies, the dollar, the euro, the pound. We own real estate. We own stock and equities. We own art. We own precious metals. We own collectibles, okay? It's estimated that about half of the stuff we own, we're using as a savings account. You don't own your second home, on the beach, in a place you never go to actually live in it. You own it because you're trying to keep the money you've earned. You don't own the stock in a company because you've gotten to know the leadership team, you're really excited about the product roadmap, and you want to share in future earnings of the business. It's because you have a 401k and you're just trying to save money towards retirement. You don't own the $100 million art piece because you, as some successful hedge fund manager, think that you need to put $100 million on your wall. You own it because you plan to sell it later. Bitcoin solves the use case for all us humans of I've created value for the world and I want to keep it. I want to store it. I want to bring it with me tomorrow. It is the best money we've ever seen. Therefore, Bitcoin is a $500 trillion idea. Half the world's value Bitcoin absorbs and solves for. It is solving the biggest problem we have today. If we can fix the money, we fix the largest problems we have in the world. Now, none of these other things are money. They're not trying to be money. They don't pretend to be money. They sell themselves on utility. They sell themselves on functionality. They sell themselves on technology. Now, you're telling me a pre-mined group of tokens that's selling itself as technology needs to be bundled in a reserve with something that's going after a $500 trillion opportunity that is the only provably absolute fixed supply asset in the history of our species. These things are more like Visa and Apple and Amazon and Nvidia than Bitcoin. Do you know what a 60% pre-mine or 100% pre-mine or a 50% pre-mine sounds to me? That sounds like Apple. That sounds like Amazon. That's a company. That's a company that has 100% of the stock. They let in early investors and they try and build something valuable. If you're going to force the American taxpayer to buy stuff by effectively putting a gun to our head, at least let me buy Apple. At least let me buy Amazon. At least let me buy Nvidia. The US government's going to put a gun to my head and force my hard-earned wage to buy Ripple? It's the most pathetic and embarrassing thing. It's outrageous. Prior generations have dumped all their debt and all their bad decisions and all their misallocation of capital on my generation. And Bitcoin's our chance to fix it and get these meddling pieces of shit out of our strategic reserve. And if you're going to force us to buy pre-mined companies, at least let us acquire the best performing ones that people actually use around the world. Bitcoin is a $500 trillion idea that can fix the biggest problems in the world today. I've not met a soul on this planet that uses Ripple, ever. I've seen all the press releases. I've seen all the banks claim stuff. Never in my life. Never in my life. And let's say something like Ripple goes on to be the next Visa. Visa is worth $700 billion and it's probably overvalued. I'm saying Bitcoin is already worth close to $2 trillion and it's going on $500 trillion. It's going to restore the ability for everyone to consume the things they need and save the value that they want.
Jack Mallers isn't holding back. Bitcoin is the one true reserve asset. No pre-mined coins, no insiders, just pure proof of work. Unlike Ethereum, Ripple, or Solana, which function like tech stocks, Bitcoin is a $500 trillion idea poised to absorb global wealth. If we fix the money, we fix the world, Mers declares, rejecting the notion of bundling Bitcoin with pre-mined corporate tokens. For him, Bitcoin isn't just another asset. It's the foundation of financial freedom and the future of money. Bitcoin plays by no one's rules, humbling everyone in its path. Mers makes it clear, no shortcuts, no cheat codes, just raw proof of work. While politicians push for crypto reserves based on pre-mined tokens like Ripple and Ethereum, Mers firmly shuts that down. Bitcoin stands alone. But there's a challenge ahead: liquidity. The U.S. economy is weakening, and until the Fed weakens the dollar, Bitcoin won't hit $500,000. Expect volatility and games along the way. But in the end, Bitcoin will triumph. It's the $500 trillion idea. Let's watch more clips from the interview for deeper insight.
Bitcoin takes no prisoners. Bitcoin will humble you. It is an absolute ego test no matter what, no matter who you are. Bitcoin operates on a set of principles that do not bend. There are no cheat codes. There are no silver bullets. You cannot route around the fact that Bitcoin is fair. And that ethical equality is protected by cryptography. Even if you're the US government and the president of the United States, you will get embarrassed if you don't know what you're doing and you don't follow the rules, just like the rest of us. Bitcoin's a $500 trillion idea in today's purchasing power terms. Obviously, as the dollar gets debased, that number will just continue to go up. So I think in purchasing power terms, Bitcoin still has about a 500x left in it. If Ripple becomes Visa, cool, $700 billion company, who cares? If Ethereum becomes Amazon, cool, add someone to the Mag 7, sweet. Mind you, these things will never, because they're giant scams. But my point is, there is Bitcoin and then there's everything else, okay? Don't get it twisted. And it's not like, okay, well, I mean, technically this is a Bitcoin strategic reserve because it's a reserve that Bitcoin is in it. So, we take our wins where we can. No, we don't. Let me be clear about something. The United States can't afford to buy anything. They can't afford it. They're going to buy a bunch of crypto tokens? Really? How? I've been talking to you guys for months now. Show me the liquidity. Show me the liquidity. Show me the lower interest rates. Show me the funding program from the Treasury. Show me both. Show me the liquidity. The reality is our economy is getting weaker. The dollar is still too strong. Trump needs a weaker dollar, period. I've been saying this, guys. What have I been saying for months? Not to brag, but if you have been a listener of this show consistently, we've been accurate about the market for a while now. What have I said? I said in the immediate term, expect volatility. In the medium to long term, expect way up. But that's all predicated on the weaker dollar, on where the liquidity is coming from. The market needs clarity. We got a bunch of weak economic data today, and everything fell right back down. If you look at a chart, what does it look like? Volatility. If you took a nap after Donald Trump won the presidency of the United States and woke up today, you'd be like, oh, nothing's changed. There was the Trump pump after he won. Markets are excited. And then that's it. You wouldn't have known we went to 110, then 95, then 100, then 90, then 100, then 79, and then 93, and then 80. It's going to wear you out or scare you out. It's going to chop you up. It's going to eat you alive. I'm telling you, expect volatility. None of this is new. None of this is groundbreaking. The notion that people are celebrating is ridiculous. And this was challenged to David Sachs of, you're actually going to make American taxpayers buy Ripple? Ripple's 100% pre-mined, meaning Ripple printed all the tokens, and the only way it gets distributed to the public is they dump it. So you're going to make U.S. taxpayers exit liquidity for Ripple Labs? Have you lost your mind? And he said, no, we're not actually. You haven't heard the full announcement. Yeah, no shit. We haven't heard the full announcement. No duh. None of us have. We don't know what Jerome Powell's thinking at the Fed. We don't know what Besson's thinking at the Treasury. Now this Sachs guy, we don't understand. Okay, so what are markets going to do? Red. It's going to look bloody. Okay, then we'll see. Because it's all charade of cards. This thing can't sustain itself. So unless the current administration is willing to collapse the world on its face, show me the liquidity. Show me the weaker dollar. Show me the currency debasement. And I will show you a $500,000 Bitcoin. I've been saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. None of it's changed. Fundamentally, nothing changes. Bitcoin and the rest of the assets, the rest of the economy are still in for some near-term pain because we still don't know about tariffs. We still don't know where the dollar liquidity is coming from. We still don't know if Jerome Powell is going to get on Trump's team and actually weaken this thing and actually help fund reshoring on the U.S. We don't know anything. This changes nothing. I see a lot of questions what I think the price is going to do. Guys, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Show me the liquidity. As soon as the Fed says, shoot, economy looks really weak, we need to invest in more growth. As soon as Besson says, hey guys, we got to reshore a bunch of stuff. So we're coming out with the ABCDEFG funding program. Probably both are going to happen. And then once we weaken the dollar, everyone else has to weaken. China's got to stimulate. Japan, everyone. Until then, volatility. Is Bitcoin going to zero? No. Is it going to march to 500K? I'm telling you, no. What's it going to do? It's going to make you think it is, then it's going to make you depressed. Then it's going to make you think it is, then it's going to make you depressed.
The markets are bleeding and Bitcoin isn't immune. Panic is setting in as the Dow plunges 800 points and Bitcoin dips below $80,000 for the first time since November. Coinbase is down 14%, Robinhood has tanked 17%, and MicroStrategy's Bitcoin bet is crumbling with a 16% drop. The crypto world is in disbelief as Trump's newly announced U.S. Bitcoin reserve fails to provide the bullish momentum many had hoped for. Instead, macro uncertainty tightens its grip, and fears of a recession are sending investors into full risk-off mode. But Jack Mers has been saying this all along. Show me the liquidity, he demands. The U.S. can't afford to buy anything, no Bitcoin, no altcoins, not even its own stockpile of debt. The market needs clarity, yet all it gets is volatility. Bitcoin isn't going to zero, but it's also not marching straight to $500,000. It will humble you, make you think it's rising, only to crush your hopes again. That's how this game works. Mers sees this sell-off for what it is, short-term noise in a long-term revolution. While Wall Street panics, Bitcoin's fundamentals remain unchanged. No pre-mine, no bailouts, no insiders, just pure proof of work. And when liquidity finally flows and the dollar weakens, Bitcoin will be the last asset standing. As we wrap up, do you agree that Bitcoin isn't competing with other cryptos but with everything else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Share this video, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights. Thanks for watching.